Rain beats against the windows of the courthouse, a constant drumbeat, as if in rhythm with a warning nobody wants to hear. It's early, too early for this kind of heaviness, but the air already feels loaded, thick enough that anyone walking through the hallway can sense something is about to break. I pass a row of wooden benches, their surfaces shown by years of people waiting for their lives to change. Today, it's the Browns' turn. And nothing about this morning feels ordinary. Inside the courtroom, Christine sits quietly at the plaintiff's table. Her back is straight, her hands folded carefully in her lap, but her leg shakes beneath the table, small, fast, almost invisible unless you're watching closely. Her breathing is steady, but her eyes tell a whole different story. They are focused, determined, almost hardened. This isn't the Christine who smiled her way through chaos. This is the Christine who has finally accepted that being quiet never protected her. Across the table, Janelle sits alone, elbows resting on the table, her hands clasped tight. She looks like a person stuck between two storms, one she survived and one she still loves. She's not here as an enemy, per se, but she is most definitely not here in support of Kody, either. Today, for the first time, Janelle looks like she's choosing herself. Mary sits behind them, second row, back perfectly straight. She clutches her purse like a life raft. She doesn't look left or right. She stares forward, her expression unreadable, but her eyes glint every time the courtroom door rattles in the wind outside. The room is waiting for one person, and he's late. The judge steps in, stern, already irritated. The bailiff's vacant stare suggests he has seen this 1,000 times, but even he stands a little taller as the tension builds. All rise. Everyone rises to their feet. Everyone, except the man whose absence speaks louder than words. "Where is Mr. Brown?" the judge asks. Christine doesn't turn around. Janelle purses her lips. Mary's eyes close, but only for half a second, as if she already knows the answer. Then, the doors burst open. Kody Brown storms in, breathing heavy, his face set in a hard line that looks like anger, annoyance, and something else. Fear. His hair is damp, sticking to his forehead. His boots echo loudly across the floor as he walks, not to apologize, but to take up space, to reclaim control. It's an energy that he has carried for years, but today it lands differently. Today, people aren't shrinking beneath it. He sits without greeting anyone. Christine's jaw tightens, just slightly. Janelle looks away. Mary's shoulders drop. The judge sighs. Now that we're all here, let's begin. Christine's lawyer stands. He's calm, collected, the type that speaks like every word has weight. Your Honor, today we present years of emotional neglect, manipulation, and financial control that left my client isolated and silenced within her own family. Kody laughs loudly. Christine doesn't bat an eye. The lawyer continues. For decades, Mr. Brown presented himself publicly as if he was a fair and balanced leader of a plural family. But what Christine will share today will show a very different reality. A reality she lived with quietly, hoping things would change, until she realized silence was destroying her. Kody shakes his head, muttering under his breath. The judge makes no effort to conceal annoyance. And for the first time, Christine lifts her eyes directly to Kody. Her stare is calm, steady, almost sad. But she doesn't look away. Kody's lawyer stands next. His tone is smooth, almost overly polite, like he wants to calm the room simply by existing. Your Honor, this case is about hurt feelings, misunderstandings, and the natural difficulty of navigating a complex family dynamic. It is not about manipulation. Christine looks down at her hands, her knuckles turning white. We will show, the lawyer presses on, that Mr. Brown supported his wives with everything he could, financially, emotionally, spiritually. And that, Mrs. Brown's story is one of perception, not reality. A soft disbelief ripples through the courtroom. Supported, emotionally, even the gallery shifts uncomfortably. But this isn't a time for reactions. It is a time for testimony. Mrs. Brown, says the judge, please take the stand. Christine gets up slowly, smoothing her clothes with shaking hands. But her face is a mask. She walks toward the witness chair, her steps loud as if it were pieces of her past she was leaving. She is sworn in, sits, takes a breath, deep, long, steadying. Her lawyer steps forward. Christine, when did you first feel unsafe in your marriage? The room falls silent. That word, unsafe, hits like a hammer. Kody's head snaps up. That's not. Mr. Brown, the judge warns. One more outburst and I will remove you. Christine looks at her lap. It wasn't one moment, she says quietly. Her voice shakes, words articulated clearly, nonetheless. It was years. Little comments. Sudden shifts. Rules that didn't apply to everyone. I kept thinking it was my fault. That if I changed enough, he'd see me again. Those last 3 words land hard. Come see me again. She continues. It was the way he talked about me to the others. The way he compared me. The way he told me my emotions were problems, not feelings. The doors open quietly. Robin enters. Her eyes are red, swollen. She moves slowly, nervously, taking the seat beside Kody. He leans toward her instantly. She whispers something to him. Soft, comforting, practiced. Christine notices. Just for a moment. A flash of pain crosses her face, then is smoothed away. Her lawyer persists gently. Christine, did you feel supported in the final years of the marriage? She shakes her head lightly. No, I felt invisible. I felt like I was only needed when things were falling apart, but never when things were good. Kody mutters, that's a lie. The judge slams his gavel lightly. Mr. Brown, enough. Christine breathes in. There were nights, she says, her voice trembling, where I begged him to talk to me. Just talk, like he used to. But he'd turn away. He'd walk out of the room. Or he'd say, you're just being dramatic. Janelle shifts, her eyes softening, guilt mixing with recognition. She lived through those nights too. Mary looks down at her hands. She knows that sentence by heart. Robin presses her fingers into Kody's arm, gently. Christine's voice softens. And after a while, I started to believe maybe I really was the problem. Her throat tightens, but she doesn't cry. Not yet. She's holding everything in place, like a glass wall, ready to crack. The lawyer walks towards the jury box. And when you finally told Mr. Brown you wanted to separate, how did he react? Christine closes her eyes for a moment and summons some courage. When I told him I was leaving, she says, opening her eyes, he didn't ask why. He didn't ask how I felt. He didn't ask if I was okay. She swallows hard. He just said, "You're making the family look bad." The words struck the room in quiet violence. Kody's jaw drops open. Even Robin's face falls. Christine takes a shaky breath. And that was when I realized I wasn't leaving a marriage. I was escaping it. Silence. Thick. Heavy. Impossible to avoid. Her attorney edges closer. Christine, is there anything you haven't told the court yet? She looks toward the judge, Her voice drops to almost a whisper. Yes, Your Honor. There's something I never shared. Not with my kids. Not with my sister wives. Not even with my closest friends. The whole courtroom stiffens. Even Kody stops breathing. Christine raises her gaze, and for the first time, they are brimming with some kind of truth she has carried for far too long. It's about the night everything changed. The judge leans forward slightly. Go on. Christine opens her mouth, and the screen goes dark in your mind. It isn't until 5 full seconds later that the courtroom stirs, after Christine says that there was something she never told anyone. Even the judge's pen has paused halfway to his paper. The air is different now, charged, heavier, as if the truth itself leaned forward in anticipation of what came next. But before Christine can speak, the judge lifts a hand. Mrs. Brown, take your time. She nods slowly and, closing her eyes, inhales as if she's drawing courage through her lungs. When she opens them again, her gaze is steadier, sharper. She looks at Kody first, not with love, not with hate, but with a kind of sad honesty that makes him shift uncomfortably in his chair. Her attorney comes closer. Tell the court what happened the night everything changed. Christine's hands clench together. It was late, she starts softly. The younger kids were already asleep. It had been a long day. Arguments, tension, the usual things we'd learned to pretend were normal. Kody straightens, already bracing himself. Christine. The judge shoots him a glare. Not a sound. Christine looks down at the table, as if replaying the memory in real time. I knocked at his door. I only wanted to talk with him. I wanted to feel like a wife, not a burden. Her voice cracks for the first time. But when I walked in, he didn't look at me like a partner. He looked at me like a distraction, like I was interrupting something more important. Janelle looks away, her jaw tightening. Mary's fingers curl into the purse strap. Robin shifts uncomfortably in her seat. I asked him if we could spend time together, Christine says. Just a conversation. Just an hour. Just something. Kody shakes his head under his breath, but the judge is watching him like a hawk. And he told me, Christine says, after swallowing hard, I don't have time for emotional nonsense tonight. The words hit the room like a slap. Kody mutters, I never said nonsense. But the judge cuts him with a single look. Christine's breathing shakes. That night, I realized I was married to a man who had already left me long before I left him. A ripple of quiet sympathy runs across the courtroom. Her lawyer nods, walking slowly. And after that night, what changed for you? Christine's calm expression falters long enough for the truth to seep out. Everything, she whispers. I stopped fighting to be seen. I stopped begging for love. I started planning my exit. Her voice lowers, and I started documenting things. The courtroom shifts again, suddenly more alert. Kody sits up sharply. You what? The lawyer smiles slightly. Yes, Your Honor. Christine kept audio recordings, text messages, and written logs of incidents over a period of years. Robin gasps, so softly only the front row hears it. And today, he says, we'd like to present a few of those recordings. Color bleeds from Kody's face. You can't be serious. Oh, I assure you, the lawyer replies, we are. He pulls a USB drive out from his folder and hands it to the bailiff, who plugs it into the courtroom speaker system. A faint buzz hums through the air as the audio loads. This is a recording from 4 years ago, says the lawyer. Location, the Brown family home. Participants, Christine and Mr. Brown. Christine closes her eyes, bracing herself. The recording crackles. Christine's recorded voice sounds soft, timid. Kody, can we talk for a minute? A loud sigh comes through the speakers. Unmistakably Kody. What now? I just walked in. Can I have 5 minutes without drama? The real Kody inside the courtroom flinches. Christine sounds apologetic in the recording. I'm sorry, I just want to understand what's wrong between us. What's wrong, Kody snaps on the recording, is that I'm tired of repeating myself. You're so needy lately. It's exhausting. The courtroom's collective breath tightens. Even Robin's eyebrows fold in shock. Every word cuts like a knife, the recording continues. Why can't you be more like the others, recorded Kody says. They don't nag. They don't cry. They don't make me feel like a failure every time I walk through the door. Christine, in the real courtroom, presses a hand to her chest. Mary covers her mouth. The lawyer stops the audio. Christine, he asks gently, how did you feel when you heard those words? Christine takes a deep breath. Small, she whispers. Invisible. Replaceable. Like loving me was too much work. And why did you record this? So I could stop gaslighting myself, she replies. So I could remember I wasn't crazy. The lawyer nods. Your Honor, we have more recordings. Enough. Kody stands up so abruptly, his chair almost falls backward. He is red-faced, his eyes are wild, and his breathing is uneven. This is out of context. You don't understand what was happening then. I was stressed. I was overwhelmed. The recording doesn't show the whole picture. The judge bangs down his gavel. Mr. Brown, sit down or I will hold you in contempt. But Kody isn't looking at the judge. He's looking at Christine, as if betrayal is a word he just learned. You recorded me? He demands, voice shaking with anger and disbelief. We were married, Christine. You were supposed to trust me. She finally looks over at him, tears gathering but not falling. I did trust you, she whispers. That's why it hurt so much. Kody's face twists, but not with guilt. It is in frustration, the kind that comes when one loses control of the narrative. Robin touches his arm. Kody, stop, she whispers, trembling. But he jerks his arm away. This is ridiculous, he snaps. You're making me look like a monster. Christine stares down at her hands. You made yourself look that way, she says softly. The room falls silent once more. Janelle leans forward, unable to keep silent anymore. She's not lying, she says in a low, even voice. We all heard things like that at one point or another. Kody turns on her. Don't you start. Janelle raises one eyebrow. Maybe I should have started years ago. The judge sighs, rubbing his forehead. Let's get back on track. Christine, do you want to present more evidence now? Christine hesitates. Then she looks toward Robin, the one who stayed loyal longest, and something softens in her expression. Yes, she says, but I'm not the only one who kept things. Kody's head snaps back to her. What is that supposed to mean? But Christine no longer looks at him. She looks at Robin. Robin swallows hard. Her fingers tremble in her lap. Christine, she whispers, almost too softly to hear. The lawyer turns. Mrs. Brown, he says to the court, would you like to explain what Christine is referring to? Robin leaps abruptly to her feet, pale-faced, quivering. Your Honor, she says, her voice cracking. Before anything else happens, I have something to say, something I should have said years ago. Kody turns white. Robin, he warns, don't. But she won't look at him. She stares straight at the judge as tears slip silently down her face. Your Honor, Christine is telling the truth, and I have proof that will change this entire case. The judge leans forward. What kind of proof? Robin's voice shakes as she speaks the words no one expected. Proof that Kody wasn't honest with us, any of us. The courtroom erupts in murmurs. Christine gasps softly. Janelle covers her mouth. Mary's eyes widen. Kody steps toward her. A flash of panic crossing his features. Robin, stop. Think about what you're doing, Finally, Robin looks at him with something more painful than anger. Disappointment. And that's where everything changes. The courtroom feels tighter, heavier today, as if the walls themselves have pressed closer, trapping everyone inside the tension. Even the judge can tell the difference, perking up a little straighter in his chair, brows lowered as if to prepare for a storm he knows is coming. And he's right, because today is when secrets stop whispering and start screaming. Christine enters first. She's calmer today than yesterday, but it's a dangerous kind of calm, the type a person gets right before jumping off the cliff they've been staring at for years. Her eyes scan the courtroom, pausing briefly on the empty chair where Janelle should be. Something about that empty chair unsettles her, but she pulls her gaze away before the worry shows. Then the doors open again, and in walks Kody. Not storming like before, not furious. Worse, he walks slowly, deliberately, chin high, lips pressed tight, almost smug. He takes his seat without a glance at Christine, but the room feels colder the second he sits down. Robin trails after him, mascara smeared like she's been crying for an hour. She hugs her purse to her chest and leans in, whispering something to Kody. He doesn't acknowledge her. His eyes never waver forward, intent almost rehearsed. The judge clears his throat. Session 3. We will start off with testimony by Ms. Kody Brown. Christine steps forward. Strong from the outside, yet her hands betray her. The faintest tremble, the kind you'd only notice if you've known her for years. And Kody notices. His mouth twitches into the smallest smirk. Christine doesn't wait for questions. Your Honor, she begins, voice steady but heavy. I need to address something before we talk about custody, finances, or property. This is about safety. A ripple shoots through the courtroom. Even the court reporter pauses for a second before typing again. And Kody, he finally looks at her. What safety? He snaps. Whose safety? Yours? The kids? Don't twist things. Kody, the judge warns, you'll speak when addressed. Kody leans back, but doesn't look away from Christine. Fine, let her talk. Christine takes a deep breath. This is not about revenge. It's not about anger. It's about what I witnessed, what I lived through, and what my children lived through. And today, I'm not going to protect anyone's image anymore. No one breathed for a moment. Robin shakes her head quietly, her lips mouthing, please don't. Christine proceeds anyway. There were nights, she says, her voice cracking slightly, when Kody wasn't the man people saw on TV. There were nights when he screamed so loudly, the neighbors called to check on us. Nights when the kids cried themselves to sleep. Nights when he punished them for things they didn't do. Kody slams his hand on the table. That is a lie. The room erupts. Gasps, murmurs, people twisting in their seats. But the judge shuts it all down instantly. One more outburst, Mr. Brown, and I will remove you from this courtroom. Kody clenches his teeth. Robin grips his arm, whispering frantically. Christine's voice softens, but it doesn't weaken. I don't hate him. I don't want him hurt. But I want the truth acknowledged. Not for me. For the kids who were too scared to say anything. She wipes a tear, but doesn't let herself break. Those words hit Kody differently. You can see it, the way he shifts, the way he blinks a little too slow. He didn't expect her to speak so plainly. He expected anger, not truth. The judge leans forward. Christine, can you name an incident that you feel demonstrates what you're describing? She hesitates, not because she's unsure, but because saying it aloud makes it real. Yes, she says. The night truly fainted. The whole courtroom falls silent. Even Kody freezes. Robin covers her mouth. Christine takes a deep breath. I woke up to truly crying. She said she felt dizzy. She was pale, shaking. And when I called Kody, he refused to come. He said it wasn't his night. He said if I couldn't handle parenting alone, I shouldn't have chosen this life. And what happened after? Christine cuts her a look sharp enough to break glass. You weren't there, Robin. The judge raises a hand. And what happened after? Christine's voice shakes, but she forces it out. She fainted. I drove her to the hospital alone. The doctor said her dehydration could have been dangerous. And when Kody finally showed up the next morning, he blamed me. Kody finally explodes. You told the doctor lies. You turned truly against me. Mr. Brown, the judge shouts. But Kody isn't listening. His rage has fully taken over. You were dramatic. You made the kids fear me. You ruined this family because you couldn't stand that Robin and I. And then he stops. Too late. But because everyone hears the truth he didn't mean to admit, that it was all about Robin, no matter how hard he tried to pretend otherwise. Christine does not gloat. She doesn't smile. Her voice is heartbreakingly calm. Thank you, she says softly, for finally saying it out loud. Sometimes the truth slips out from the people trying hardest to hide it. The judge bangs his gavel. Order. Mr. Brown, you will not interrupt again. Do you understand? Kody slumps back, red-faced, breathing hard. Robin is on the verge of tears. The judge turns to Christine again. Please continue. She nods. They changed after that incident. They withdrew. They avoided conflict. They walked on eggshells around their father, not because they disliked him, but because they feared what version of him would show up. Kody mutters, they feared you. Christine doesn't even look at him. No, they feared your anger. They feared your unpredictability. They feared disappointing you because you made your love feel conditional. Robin makes a soft, broken sound, part sob, part protest. Christine looks at her gently. Robin, you know this. You saw it. Tears well up in Robin's eyes. Her hands shake. Kody whispers sharply, don't you dare say a word. Robin flinches. And the entire courtroom catches it. That tiny moment of control, of intimidation. It's small, but it's enough to make the energy in the room shift completely. And so does the judge. Mrs. Brown, he says to Robin, for the first time, would you like to respond? Robin freezes. Her lip quivers. She looks at Kody, then at Christine, then back at the judge. And for the first time, there is something new in her expression. Fear, conflict, guilt. The room waits, breathless. Robin opens her mouth. She whispers. But under the table, Kody squeezes her hand hard. She winces. I don't think I should be talking right now, she whispers, cowering away. The judge narrows his eyes. Christine watches her with a heart-wrenching mixture of sadness and understanding, knowing full well what it feels like to be trapped. She lived it. The judge sighs heavily. We will take a brief recess. Christine turns to leave the stand. And that is when a sound reverberates within the courtroom. A heavy wooden door swings open. Everyone turns. And standing in the doorway is Janelle. Her hair is mussed, her eyes swollen, and her hands cold, trembling with cold or fear. Nobody knows. But her expression is pure fire. And she's staring right at Kody. The judge looks confused. Ms. Brown, are you here to testify? Janelle enters the room slowly, voice trembling but determined. Yes, Your Honor, she says. Because Christine isn't the only one who has something to reveal. Kody's jaw drops. Robin gasps. Christine freezes. And the courtroom erupts. The room is still buzzing when Janelle steps further inside, the echo of her shoes clicking against the polished courtroom floor. But it isn't just the sound that grabs the attention of everyone in the courtroom. It's the energy around her. Something about her presence feels heavier, more serious, as if she's been holding something inside for far too long, and today, she refuses to carry it 1 minute longer. Christine's eyes widen, not in shock, but in concern. She knows that look on Janelle's face, the look of a woman who has been silent for years, and suddenly can't hold her silence anymore. Kody, on the other hand, is pale, really pale. He straightens in his chair, stiff and nervous, visibly shaken in a way he never was with Christine's testimony. It's almost as if Janelle holds a different kind of power over him. Not louder, not angrier, but deeper, more honest, more dangerous. The judge motions her forward. Pa ends up, Miss C.I. Brown, are you prepared to give testimony regarding today's matters? Janelle nods once. Steady, controlled. Her hands, however. Her hands shake a little as she interlocks them. Yes, Your Honor, she says. I have remained silent for too long. Kody abruptly stands up. Your Honor, she's emotional. She's been manipulated by. Sit down. The judge doesn't even raise his voice, and yet the command slices through the air like a blade. Kody sits, reluctantly, jaw clenched. Janelle looks straight ahead. I want to start by saying I didn't want to do this. I didn't want to come here. I didn't want to be dragged into this mess again. But after hearing what Christine said today, her voice cracks. I knew I couldn't stay silent anymore. Christine's eyes soften. Robin looks down into her lap. And for the first time, Kody looks truly scared. Janelle approaches the witness stand. Please raise your right hand, says the bailiff. She does, firmly. Once she's sworn in, she sits down slowly, as if the weight of years lands on her shoulders all at once. And when she begins speaking, the courtroom grows so still that even breath feels too loud. Kody wasn't always the man you see today, she says in a quiet tone. He wasn't always this person. There was a time when he tried, when he cared, or at least he pretended well enough that we believed he did. But over the years, something changed. And it wasn't sudden. It was slow, quiet, dangerous. She stops, composing herself. It started when Robin joined the family. Robin flinches, though tears well up immediately. But she doesn't interrupt. Perhaps she knows she can't. Janelle continues, voice steady. A man I married, the man who promised partnership, became someone who punished loyalty and rewarded obedience. Someone who demanded devotion he didn't give in return. Someone who turned every disagreement into betrayal. Kody scoffs loudly. The judge sends him a glance that could quiet thunder. But Janelle doesn't react to him at all. She's in her own truth now, and nothing can pull her out. She leans forward slightly. Your Honor. I want to talk about the night I left the house. The night I realized I wasn't just unhappy, I was unsafe. Kody sits up at once. That was not Mr. Brown. The judge's voice lowers. Enough. Tears fill Janelle's eyes, though she refuses to let them fall. It was winter, she begins. Snow everywhere. The heat in the house wasn't working right, and the kids were cold. I told Kody we needed help. He told me I was exaggerating. He told me real wives handled their homes without complaining. He said, if I couldn't handle winter, I couldn't handle him. A quiet gasp runs through the room. Christine looks devastated. Robin covers her mouth. Even the judge looks unsettled. She wipes her cheek quickly, a single tear she couldn't stop. I wasn't scared for myself, she says. I was scared for my kids. They were shivering, crying, huddled together under blankets, while Kody stayed at Robin's house, warm, comfortable, ignoring my calls. Robin speaks for the first time. I didn't know. Yes, you did, Janelle says, her voice low. You were standing next to him when he told me to stop being dramatic. Robin's face goes white. She doesn't argue. She can't. Janelle's voice breaks as she continues. That night, I packed what I could, loaded the kids in the car, and drove away. I didn't know where I was going. I just knew I couldn't stay. Kody begins shaking his head wildly. That was your choice. You ran away. You abandoned. I never said that. No, Janelle snaps, turning to him for the first time. The room freezes, and Kody has no comeback. Sometimes survival looks like leaving the very place you once called home. Janelle looks back at the judge, calmer now. I'm not here out of bitterness. I'm here because Christine told the truth, and she shouldn't have to stand alone. Her voice grows steadier, stronger. We didn't leave Kody because we wanted freedom. We left because we wanted peace. Because living with him meant living on edge, wondering what version of him would walk through the door. Silence sweeps through the courtroom. The judge in the courtroom leans forward. Ms. Brown, do you feel Mr. Brown posed a risk to your emotional or physical well-being? Janelle hesitates. Deep pause of pain. Finally, Robin cries silently. Christine closes her eyes. Kody's mouth hangs open, shocked, wounded, furious. But the judge isn't done. And, you do think this behavior had any effect on the children? A longer pause. Yes, she whispers. More than they'll ever admit. Kody explodes. This is character assassination. You're twisting everything. You're Mr. Brown. The judge slams the gavel down. One more outburst and you will be escorted out. Kody sinks back, breathing like a man drowning. Janelle doesn't look at him again. There's more, she says quietly. Something Christine didn't mention. Christine looks over quickly, confusion and concern blending in her eyes. Janelle takes a deep, shaky breath. I wasn't the only one who left the house that night. The room responds immediately. Even the judge looks dumbfounded. Who else was involved? He asks. Janelle trembles, but forces the words out. One of the older kids. They came to me, crying, and said that Dad had yelled at them, said they were just like their mother, that they were selfish, that they'd ruined everything. Tears well up in Christine's eyes. Was it? But Janelle doesn't say the name. She just nods, and the whole room understands that. This isn't just between Kody and his wives anymore. That has crossed into the next generation. Kody stands again, this time not shouting, but desperate. You're lying. You're both lying. This is a setup. The judge finally loses his temper. Bailiff, remove Mr. Brown from the courtroom for the remainder of Ms. Brown's testimony. Gasps erupt everywhere. Kody's face drains. Robin cries harder. Christine looks stunned. The bailiff approaches Kody. No, Kody yells out. You can't take me away. This is my family. My reality. He tries to jerk away, but the bailiff grabs his arm. Kody struggles, angry, humiliated. Janelle sits in silence and watches him, not with satisfaction, but with an exhausted sadness. As Kody is dragged toward the door, yelling, Robin calls out after him. Kody, stop, please, you're making it worse. But he's too far gone now. Rage blinding, ego injured, power slipping. The courtroom door slams shut behind him. Silence floods in. Janelle lets out a deep breath, almost collapsing back into the chair. Christine instinctively reaches out, placing her hand on her shoulder. A silent, emotional thank you. The judge clears his throat, his voice softer now. Ms. Brown, is there anything else you wish to add? Janelle nods slowly. Yes, just one thing. She looks directly at the judge, then at Robin, then at Christine, and finally at the empty chair that held Kody. A truth is not finished yet. She stands, and before anyone can even react, the courtroom door opens again. A new figure steps inside. Young adult, nervous, red eyes, shaking hands. One of the older Brown children. Everyone gasps. Christine covers her mouth. Robin drops her purse. Janelle freezes. Even the judge looks stunned. The child speaks softly. I want to testify, too. The moment the Brown child steps into the courtroom, everything shifts in the air. It's like time has stopped. Like every sound is swallowed by the weight of what this moment means. This isn't wives against husband anymore. This is the next generation, the ones who lived through chaos, the ones who learned to be quiet, the ones who now stand before a judge with shaking hands and haunted eyes. Christine gets to her feet, her eyes wide in shock, terror, pride. Janelle clutches her heart, hardly breathing. Even Robin, who has been crying through most of the session, is completely still, mascara frozen into tracks down her cheeks. And Kody? He's out there somewhere, pacing, furious, perhaps even still yelling through the walls. But he is not here to stop this. Not here to glare, to pressure, to intimidate. For the first time, the Brown child is free to speak. The judge leans forward kindly. Please step forward. Identify yourself only by your first name for the record. The child nods, shaking a little, wiping their face as they reach the stand. My name is, well, I'd rather not say it publicly. Some people will know who I am anyway. The judge nods. Of course. You may remain anonymous. They sit down, letting out a deep breath, as if it had taken every ounce of remaining strength for them to sit. Christine whispers, "It's okay. You're safe." The child gives her a small, broken smile. The judge folds his hands. What would you like to tell the court? The courtroom holds its breath. The voice that comes out is quiet, fragile, yet brave. I came because I kept waiting for somebody to say it. And Mom tried, and Janelle tried, but they didn't see everything. They didn't see what we saw, what we lived through, what we felt. Their chin trembles. We were scared. All the time. Even when nothing was happening. We were scared because we didn't know what version of Dad would walk through the door. A thick, suffocating silence falls over the room. We were scared to talk. Scared to ask questions. Scared to disappoint him. Robin starts crying again, this time in silence. The child looks up, shining with tears in his eyes. He says, I don't hate my dad. I just wish he loved us, the way he loved being right. The judge looks shaken. Christine wipes away her tears quietly. Janelle closes her eyes, soaking up every word. And then, the child says something that freezes everybody. There was a night he crossed a line. Christine gasps softly. She clutches the edge of the bench. Robin's head snaps up. Even the judge tenses. The child swallows hard. It wasn't physical. I need to say it clearly. He never hit me. But sometimes words, they hit deeper. They take a shaky breath. He was yelling at Mom, Christine, in the kitchen. I don't even remember what started it. Something small. Something dumb. Something that didn't matter. And I walked in at the wrong time. Their voice cracks. And he turned to me and said, You're just like her. Useless, emotional, soft. That's why no one respects you. Christine's face crumbles. A deep, silent pain etched across her features. I was 12, the child whispers. Robin completely breaks down, her shoulders shaking as she sobs into her hands. Janelle bows her head, and tears slip down her cheeks. The judge looks horrified. The child wipes his face again, speaking through the tears. And I believed him. For years, I believed I was weak. I believed I was the problem. I believed Dad's love was something I had to earn by being quiet, invisible, perfect. They take in a trembling breath. I learned to survive by disappearing. The entire courtroom seems to exhale all at once in a sound full of heartbreak and recognition. Children don't forget the moments when their world teaches them fear. They continue. I didn't want to testify. I didn't want to be here. But hearing Mom talk, hearing Janelle talk, I realized they weren't lying. They weren't exaggerating. They were protecting us even now. They look toward the door through which Kody was removed. And Dad won't listen to them. He won't listen to anyone. But maybe he'll listen to this. Or maybe he won't. But at least the truth will be said. The judge leans forward. What truth do you most want the court to understand clearly? The child wipes his face for the last time, collecting all the remaining droplets of courage. That Dad didn't lose his family because we betrayed him. He lost his family because he stopped seeing us as people. That single sentence hits the room like a hammer. It feels like even the walls shake from this emotional blow. Christine sobs quietly into her hands. Janelle trembles. Robin looks shattered, with guilt twisting her features. The child keeps tears, voice hoarse. He treated Mom like she was disposable. He treated Janelle like she should be grateful for crumbs. He treated Robin like she was perfect, but perfect in a way that made the rest of us feel like failures. Robin cries harder, shaking her head slowly, saying, I didn't want that. I didn't want that. The child looks at her kindly. I know. You weren't the problem, Robin. Dad was. Robin looks stunned, blindsided by compassion she never expected to receive. With that, the judge folds his hands again. Is there anything else you'd like to add? A long, uncertain pause. Yes, the child whispers. This is no ordinary pause. Deeper, heavier. When I finally left home, Dad didn't ask why. He asked who I was trying to hurt. The judge's face hardens. The child trembles, tears falling freely now, and I realized he never saw me, not once. He saw an image of himself, and when that reflection cracked, he blamed me for breaking it. Christine sobs aloud. Janelle clutches at her stomach, breathing erratically. Even Robin, who has tried for years to defend Kody, looks on at the floor, broken. The judge clears his throat, his voice thick with emotion he is trying to conceal. Thank you. Your testimony is brave. And it matters. More than you know. The child nods weakly, beginning to rise from the stand. Christine immediately steps forward, catching them in an embrace so tight, so full of years of pent-up love, that half the courtroom is in tears. Janelle stands too, placing her hands gently on the child's back. Robin stands up, hesitates, and then with trembling steps, joins the embrace. For one fleeting moment, a family that had been shattered to pieces touches one another again. But the moment doesn't last, because the doors burst open again. Enter bailiff, in haste. Your Honor, he says with urgency, we have a situation. Everybody turns, startled. The judge frowns. What kind of situation? The bailiff hesitates, his eyes anxious. breath coming irregularly. "It's Mr. Brown," he says, demanding to re-enter the courtroom. And he's saying he has evidence. Christine stiffens. Janelle's eyes widen. Robin covers her mouth. The judge narrows his eyes. What kind of evidence? The bailiff swallows. He says he has messages, screenshots, recordings. Murmurs of confusion, fear, and disbelief fill the room. Christine whispers, "What recordings?" Janelle leans in and whispers, "What is he talking about?" Whispering, Robin says, "Oh no, what did he do?" And then comes the bailiff with the final blow. He says, "The recordings prove he wasn't the only one lying." The courtroom erupts. Someone gasps. Someone screams. Someone whispers. This just changed everything. And before the judge can respond, before anyone can breathe, Kody Brown appears in the doorway. His face red, his hair wild, his hands gripped a stack of papers and a phone. Y con la voz temblando de ira, he shouts, "You want truth? You want real truth? Then listen, because I'm not going down alone. Stop."